Thanks for that great panel. That was excellent. Good morning. Everyone doing well? All right, let me start with a question. If you had the opportunity today to save someone's life, raise your hand. Would you do it? Love it. This is a great group. It's true. And I know you're telling the truth because before I came here today, I Googled you. I hope you don't mind, but I looked up where you all work, and you work at companies that save and improve human lives every day. Whether maintaining safety at your manufacturing facility, whether it's providing clean food and drinking water for communities, whether it's by supporting our national security, providing joy through entertainment, creating new novel treatments for diseases, supporting education in communities. This is what you all do, and you all care about human flourishing, helping and improving human lives. And I do as well. The company I work at is called Abbott. Abbott is a company that supports health and well-being through all sorts of technologies. Whether it's through helping with nutrition for children or people who are recovering from illnesses. We have products that help repair damaged or broken heart valves. We have little devices that go in your arteries to keep them open. We help people who have essential tremor and Parkinson's maintain control of their muscle movements. We provide support and testing on hundreds of diseases for millions of people every year. We have a device that helps you measure your blood sugar levels constantly throughout the day. All of these technologies, through all of the smart, intelligent people at this company innovating, touch the lives of 1 billion people every year. So I too am with you. I believe in helping improve and save human lives. And I believe, like all of you, that XR is an incredible way to do that. But can we predict success? It's very critical to be able to know ahead of time whether something is going to actually get out of pilot phase. So let me share with you 2 examples. The first is, how can we help doctors get better outcomes placing stents? So stents are little metal mesh tubes that go in your arteries to keep them open so you can get blood flowing to your heart or your brain or your limbs. And my team realized that we had a new technology called OCT, which helps you look inside the arteries to make better clinical decisions about treatment. And we realized that physicians needed help in doing this better. So we put together a multimodal VR experience where you could be inside a real cath lab, see how the procedures go. We created a virtual lab so you could practice using this technology with some quizzes, some didactic videos, and the pilot was very good. Our users said that they were 50% more excited with the learning, 50% more engaged, and had better retention of the knowledge by 70% compared to traditional learning methods. So it was a great pilot. We were very happy with it. Here's another one. How can we improve the sustainability of the global blood supply? Abbott tests more than 50% of all of the blood in the global blood supply for safety. And so it's critical. We have a set goal that by the year 2030, we want to make sure to get back to a sustainable global blood supply. And we're not there right now. Donations are down. Average age of donation is 55. There's been a 30% reduction in donations for those under 30. And so there's a critical need to make sure that we're improving and increasing blood donation for the sake of the global blood supply, for people who need it, people who have sickle cell anemia or have suffered some sort of trauma or injury during an accident or during childbirth or going through cancer treatment. This is very critical. So this team surveyed 8,000 individuals about why aren't you donating? And one of the key things that came back was anxiety, fear of needles. So this team put together a mixed reality experience. And this experience was was for those who are giving blood. While they're giving blood, you put on the mixed reality headset. Your arm is immobilized, but you don't need to use your hands because you're using your eyes to plant a virtual garden. There's a peaceful orb named Willow that comes, gives you a satchel of seeds. You plant these seeds and you grow a garden in your environment. So you're giving virtual life at the same time that you're giving real life. And through the headset, the phlebotomist who's taking your blood can see your eyes for safety. So it was a great solution. We were very happy with it. So 2 great pilots, right? One of these made it out of pilot and one didn't. I'm here to tell you we can predict success. And the teams that put this together, we believe that there are a certain number of factors that we can focus on ahead of time to predict success. And we have to use the original VR technology, the only one that was available when I started in healthcare 20 years ago. Maybe some of you are aware of it. I don't see it very often today, but it's called thinking. It was the only way at that time to get out of the real world into a virtual space, see into the future. And so that's what I'm going to propose today. We have to apply this thinking ahead of time because failure is an option. If we don't get out of pilot, we have wasted time and resources and business reputation. And this is very possible. Maybe some of you have been in this experience. I know I have. So these success factors are critical. There are many things we can do to make sure that we're successful. We can be planful. We can have good focus on our goals. We can make sure that they're SMART goals. We can get buy-in from various stakeholders. All these things that we can do to be successful. But our team has identified 4 that cut through all of this and really help us focus. So what I'd like to do today is walk you through these 4 and explain the value of these 4 success factors. The first is vision clarity. We want to ask ourselves questions like, can I clearly articulate what problem needs to be solved and for whom I am solving it? How focused is my ultimate purpose? How precisely have I defined my audience? What does the experience really require? Is my scope tight enough? How specifically have I defined my use case? Did I inadvertently sneak in additional use cases? So for our VR experience for artery imaging, this was our vision statement: to show doctors, nurses, techs, sales reps, clinical specialists, and new hires the benefits of OCT, the technical skills, and the ability to make good clinical decisions from the image interpretation. All right, so let's focus on what's good about that. Yes, it's true. It's important that our physicians understand how to use this technology. Nurses and techs are very important. Not only how to use it, but how to interpret the images, how to make good clinical decisions from that. But this is not scope creep, this is scope avalanche. We have like 15 use cases built in here, and they're all great. And one of the problems that we encountered, one of the mistakes we made at the very beginning was the very, very first conversation we had, even before this, was with a vendor. A vendor came to us, showed us some tech, and we said, that is amazing. And we started to think of all the things we could do with it. And then everything from that brainstorm made it into our vision. So we have a vision statement, yes. But do we have vision clarity? Is it very clear? Is it clear enough? The MR for blood donation, I think, did a much better job. So I'm going to give a 6 out of 10 on this first score. Here's the vision statement for the blood donation project: to create a sustainable global blood supply by removing barriers for potential donors under 30. So what's the ultimate goal? Sustainable global blood supply. What are those? What's the reason why it's not sustainable? Well, donations are down. Where are they down? They're down in those in the under 30 set, millennials, Gen Z. So the first vision statement was like this, just expanding more, let's scoop it all in. The second one is really focusing, honing, shining, polishing, getting in on the detail. So the first was absolutely a vision, but the second has vision clarity. So I'm going to give this team a 9 on vision clarity. Let's talk about leadership passion. We had the first demo prototype of our solution for blood donation, and we were actually here in Dallas at a sales meeting. And at that meeting, we had all of the sales leaders and executives present, and we thought this would be a great place to show them what this looks like and what this could be. So the hotel, we had booked all the rooms in the hotel, all the meeting rooms. There was no space. So we rented a room at like a Holiday Inn Express across the street. We got everyone into some Uber SUVs and drove them across the street and showed them this experience. And it was great. They put on the headsets. They loved it. They took them off. They said, wow, that's so cool. That's amazing. That's great. You know, we support you really good. And they started thinking about all these things we could do with it. And they said, that's great. We totally support you. Let's get back to the meeting. And so we didn't have leadership passion necessarily. That's what I call leadership buy-in. And passion is much different than just buy-in. Buy-in means, I'm okay if you do that. I won't mess with your projects. I'm good. But leadership passion is a totally different thing. So for the blood donation project, that team, for the blood donation project, the gentleman who started the project, his name's Miguel, and he went to his boss's boss, Joanna, and she was super thrilled, super excited. She got very engaged. She helped to hone and refine the vision statement to get it more clarity. And then she took him to the chief marketing officer's office to demo the experience. And the demo, as some of the demos maybe you've experienced, did not go well at all. It was the tech wasn't working. It's like, trust me, it wasn't like this 5 minutes ago. And it didn't go great. But Joanna believed in it so much, and she was so committed that she smoothed things over with the CMO. She made sure that they fixed it, they got things up and running, they focused their vision even more, and a few months later, they were able to demo this and win an award. So there's a difference between these two projects. So with leadership passion, we want to ask ourselves questions like, do any of my leaders feel the same amount of passion as I do? What is the appetite for risk and willingness to do something new? Is there a leader who wants to drive this forward? So I'm going to give us a 2 out of 10 on leadership passion for the artery imaging project, and for the blood donation project, a 10 out of 10. The team was very excited. They encouraged me to give an 11, but the PowerPoint wouldn't take it, so I put 10. So strong on leadership passion, strong on vision clarity, champion depth. We want to ask ourselves questions like this. Could my list of champions be broader? Who else feels as invested in this project as me? Would this project continue without me? Do my stakeholders have the same vision clarity as me? Do I have end users as champions? There's a whole economy of stakeholders when we do these projects. At the closest level, there's me. I'm building it. I've got the idea. But then there's the next level, which is those who help me approve the content and get it through IT. And then the next level, those who deploy it and manage the logistics. And then the final level of those who are actually using it. And that entire economy is ripe for opportunities for champions. We have to have champions all the way through and as far down to the end user as possible. So I'll tell you a story about champion depth for this artery imaging project. We had our first prototype. We were ready to go. We took it into a hospital, and we set it up in one of the private meeting rooms, waiting for the physician to finish his last case and to come in. Well, something came up. He was busy. He was preoccupied. He said, I can't make it. He went off, and we said, well, let's grab some of the nurses, some of the techs. Let's get them in here, show them the experience. And they said, that was cool. That was neat. They really, the wow factor, the cool factor was there. And so that local sales team who was executing this said, that was great. I'm not even sure doctors are going to really be able to have time for this. Why don't we just focus on the nurses and techs? So the next account they went to, focusing on the nurses and techs, you can see how rapidly we gave up on our vision. That vision clarity wasn't there, and we shifted because we didn't have a champion at that level to say, no, I will be your physician champion. I will be your end user. I will help make sure this meets the needs of my colleagues, my partners, and of me. So on this one, I'll give us a 5 out of 10 for effort. The blood donation project, the very first person that raised their hand was a phlebotomist named Michelle who lives here in Texas, and she raised her hand and said, I want to be a part of this. I want to make sure that this works, right? She's as close to the end user as possible. And she was so passionate, and she worked with the team and made sure that it was successful. And in honor of her, the team named one of the butterflies in the garden Michelle after her. This entire project was done in total collaboration every single step of the way between Abbott and Blood Centers of America. This was not just one end of that whole economy of stakeholders, but every level there were people who were involved and dedicated and committed. And so we're giving an 8 out of 10 on this one. All right, how about KPI strength? We want to ask ourselves questions like, how will I be able to objectively demonstrate success? Which metrics will offer the highest credibility? Am I measuring true impact or just engagement? All right, in terms of KPI strength, I wanted to prepare for this talk and for seeing all of you, so I went back and looked at the pitch deck that we used to get buy-in for our artery imaging project. And I clicked through to the slide towards the end that said KPIs. And at the top of the slide, it said, in development. This was the slide deck that I actually used. This was my final version that I actually used to get commitment of funding and budget to work on this pilot. In development, we didn't even know what our KPIs were at the very beginning. Now, we did come up later, and we did identify some good KPIs, and we did focus on engagement and excitement and knowledge retention, but it was not something that was strong. KPIs, but KPI strength, I would say no. So I'm going to give us a 6 out of 10 on this one. In terms of KPI strength, the team that worked on the blood donation project went out and surveyed 8,000 individuals, started with the end user. What did they need and what did they want? And they focused based on their vision to get the right KPIs. So why are donations down? Well, individuals have anxiety. What's the issue? They are not donating the first time. What's the other issue? They're not continuing to donate. So they focused on those 3 KPIs. The first program, one of the first programs they did was at the Field Museum in Chicago. They did a bunch of blood donation, and there they measured those KPIs. And they found that there was a 68% of individuals said that the experience did reduce their anxiety. And close to 80% of individuals said this was my first time donating. It was 76% for the under 30 crowd, roughly double what the typical rates are for first time donation at a project like that. And then in terms of intent to donate again, it was 89% said, yes, I intend to donate again. So those metrics were strong. They were focused on all the way back up to what that vision was. There are, of course, other soft metrics too. I have to tell a story that Miguel told me. He was so excited. He said he remembers the date. It was December 17th, 2022. He said he'll never forget it. They were in New York, one of the first times piloting this program. And the patients had come through, people had donated, and the last lady came in and she was donating, and people were kind of packing up and getting ready to go. And she finished donating, and then she kept wearing the headset for the next like 20 or 30 minutes, and she would not stop. She must have had the Garden of Eden planted inside there. And she was so excited. And he said that excitement he'll never forget that moment. So that also was a strong KPI for him, knowing that we've got something good here. So if I give a 7 out of 10 on this one, some of you are doing this on your paper, but I'll add them up for you. 19 to 34, right? This is our final score here, 19 to 34. So in terms of the blood donation project, I have to compliment the team, Joanna, Deanna, and Miguel, who from Abbott, who put this together. I also have to compliment Jennifer Caporal from Blood Centers of America, who also is a key lead, the collaboration every step of the way. Not only were they successful in their pilot, they were successful getting the pilot out to scalability. This program now is at dozens of centers around the US, as well as in multiple countries, in Japan, Hong Kong, Australia, in Peru, Uganda, Saudi Arabia, other places. So it's grown, it's expanded, it's been successful. But most importantly, because it has taken a step towards improving the sustainability of our global blood supply. So as you're thinking about your projects and your success factors for how you are going to change and improve human lives, these are the questions to ask. You have vision, no doubt you do. But do you have a clear vision? Is it shined and polished and honed in? You have leadership buy-in, I'm sure, but do you have leadership passion? Are there those who care as much about it as you do? No doubt you have stakeholders and champions, but how deep? Do they go all the way through that economy of stakeholders down to the end user? Do you have every step? And you have KPIs, I'm sure. But how strong are they? How closely are they tied to your vision? How much clarity do we really have there? If we can answer these questions, if we can apply our thinking, I'm sure that we'll be much more successful, you and I, in all of our projects. We all believe in improving human lives. You told me at the beginning, if you could do something today to save a life, that you would. And fortunately, we have an opportunity. Today, you can save up to 3 lives. Every time you donate blood, you can save up to 3 lives for people who need it. If you have anxiety about donating blood, I hope you were listening for the last few minutes. We can address that. So if you head right out these doors during the break off to the side until the end of the day, we will have individuals who are ready to take your donation. And as a sweetener on top of that, Abbott has partnered with the Big Ten universities and with Tom Brady to do the We Give Blood Drive. It's the largest ever blood drive competition in the history of the United States. And we're donating on behalf of our Big Ten schools. So if you have a Big Ten school that you're an alum from or you're affiliated with, you can donate and you can get credit for that school. The school that has the most donations over the next couple months by the beginning of December will receive a $1 million donation from Abbott for that community's health and well-being. So we're trying to do everything we can to really improve that sustainability. If you don't have a Big Ten school you're affiliated with, please come talk to me. I can make a recommendation. Thank you so much for your time. I know that we all believe the same thing. Let's go out and save some lives.